So
Yeah.
we have our first applicant, the Whippoorwill Club is returning.
Thank you. Good evening to members of the zoning board, zoning board of appeals. Yeah, architecture review board. I apologize. I'm not going to take any of your time other than to say that I appreciate your board's input at the last meeting. Mr. Carnow, who is our architect, has been fully engaged and has spent a considerable amount of time going through not only the comments that were made by your board, but working with Structures, who's the basically the engineer for that, to get a full understanding, to be able to answer your questions. And we've made some changes. And I got to say that I think a number of the comments that we received, I think were extremely valid. And those changes, I think, hopefully meet with your board's satisfaction. So I'm going to let Mr. Carnow kind of walk you through it. Amanda Taylor is also online. If she can share the screen, she'll help Mr. Carnow in his brief presentation. It's about a 5-minute presentation. Leo, you unmuted?
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to make this presentation. We did listen to what the board had to say at the last meeting, and I hope that you will feel that we have given a good faith effort to incorporate your comments into this presentation. The first thing I'd like to do, since I don't think it was done very well last time, was to give you a quick synopsis and overview of the elements of this pergola, so that you have a better understanding of the pieces of this puzzle. We have columns, beams, gutters, louvers that are all part of this system. They are all white aluminum. The columns are 8x8 aluminum posts. The beams around the perimeter, 2x10s. Underneath them is a 7.5 inch by roughly 3-inch gutter system that runs inside each of the 12 column bays. The louvers on top are motorized, and they are also white aluminum. We've provided some details for you to clarify some of these items. So if Amanda, if you can go to number 3, that is typical detail around the perimeter, where you can see the column. On top of it, on the upper left, is that 2x10 perimeter beam, and to the bottom right of that beam is the 7.5 inch wide gutter system. Below that 2x10 beam is a 6x6 white enclosure that houses the roll-up shade that serves as the windows for this. Those shades are controlled in guides that are recessed into the 8x8 column, and they're motorized. As I go further into this, I'll explain to you where those motors are. And if we can go to detail number 4. There are 2 column lines, the B and the C column line, which are the 2 center columns in this pergola. And those are steel beams encased or enclosed in a white aluminum enclosure along their entire length, and at the ends there's a rectangular enclosure there. So you don't see the construction of the steel beam. All you see is a clean white box underneath it, and that sits essentially on top of the column, and above it you see the 2x10s and gutters on each side. The S-shaped elements are the louvers. If we can go to item number 5, that's a typical gutter line in a non-steel beam bay condition. So you have the 2 2x10s separated by a distance each with their own gutter, and then there's an aluminum closure between the two 2x10s. So that space between them is weathertight. The plan details, or the plan shows you the, I mean, if we can go to the overall plan. Thank you. You can see in each of the column bays that they are, now if we go to the plan, I mean, there we go. The column bays show you a sloping direction. So when the louvers are closed, that entire system is slightly sloped to drain. And they reverse the slope so that they can spread the water out among all of the drainage gutters in the system. What we've done now is we have stopped the relationship of the pergola to the building at the front line of the overhang. So that if there is a roughly 2-inch wide trim piece at the underside of the soffit at the front edge, we have looked to align the 2x10 with that trim piece. That leaves, it does a few things. It leaves the remainder of the soffit unencumbered by any of the construction of the pergola for its full length, except for 2 8-inch wide sections at the far ends. And I'll go over that in a second. So that we're holding the top of that 2x10 down roughly 3 inches from the bottom of the soffit, because the louvers extend up 2 inches above the 2x10s. So we've left enough room that there are no issues of one part of the system encroaching on another. We've moved the line of the columns out far enough so that everything aligns the way it should in terms of the construction of the pergola itself, and tried to leave as much as we could of that soffit condition unencumbered. We thought that that was an important item raised by the board last week, and we've tried hard to maintain that relationship. So that left us with the issue of how do we relate this pergola at those 2 end corners to the building. And we had some discussion with the board about that, and there was discussion about keeping that column somewhat off of the building face, trying to fill that space with some material. And what we decided to do was to use the same type of trim board as is used in all of the other cases around the doors and the windows, and cut the siding. So in this case, because we have an 8x8 column, we would use a 1x10 wood trim. So it would extend beyond the 8x8 by about 3/4 of an inch on either side. And it would create a clean, flush condition for the column to sit against. The paint would be the same color, the detail would be the same look. So in our opinion, it worked well with the system of trim that is around the rest of the doors and windows in that area. And then we would go from that corner 8x8 back to the next column line, which is the 4 column line, and that would be a single shade. And by doing that, it's a very nice clean opening for if that were left open, there's plenty of room for people to access from around that side of the patio. And it was cleaner, in our opinion, than adding in another vertical element on line with the edge of the pergola. So by and large, that's the nuts and bolts of what we've decided to do. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. And I hope you'll find that we've been trying to be responsive to your comments.
Neil, the beadboard, the overhang, that's all exposed now too for maintenance, and otherwise I think it's a better look as well.
It's all exposed except for the 2 8-inch wide beams at the far ends. So that
And you have a vertical closure piece riding around it, I guess, to keep the heating or cooling in.
yes, it's removable so that we can take it away and repair what we may need to repair. So we just high up, and we would have it on that corner and along the entire length of the pergola, because we need to keep the weather out above, from coming in above the louver at the face of the overhang. So it would be, again, a piece of white aluminum, and it's up nearly 13 feet up in the air. So we would expect that it would simply blend in with the rest of the pergola.
Well, I appreciate that you did all these drawings, because these are the not the design, but these are the drawings that I've been asking for that make clearly perfect sense of how this thing is integrating with the building. If I accept a modern structure, if you zoom in on number 6, detail number 6, I would prefer if the steel column was a few inches away and the interstitial space between the old building and the column was actually inset from the width of the column. So it almost looks like a reveal detail. And it's also more than 3/4 of an inch off the building. It's, creates a good 2-inch reveal. I mean, I think that would go towards what I was saying, is that keep the modern structure separate. I don't, it's unfortunate you have to cut the siding. But if you create this interstitial piece and actually sawtooth it, you wouldn't have to cut the siding. But I see once this tube is installed, it's never going to be removed. So maybe removing the siding. So basically what I'm saying, the siding rides, 3/4 of an inch behind the steel tube. And that interstitial space is not wider than the tube. It's actually narrower than the tube.
Mm-hmm.
Something on the order of a 6-inch dimension. So in about an inch from the face.
Yeah, I think that would help. And then also make it thicker. So it really looks like a shadow reveal.
About a 2-inch dimension.
2 inches from the face of the siding. Yeah, I think that would.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this has come a long way.
I think in the end, this is a better design too. I think getting a better understanding, we were able to work with the engineer who engineered the system too, and pointing out, why we were doing this. And I think the club is actually appreciative. This is going to be a better look, I think.
Yeah, I'm glad. You would have had a kit just shown up and installed, and you would have
Right.
been shaking
Right.
your head after the guy
Yeah.
installed.
Yeah, no, we honestly, that was our feeling too. And as I explained it to the board at Whippoorwill too, I think they were in agreement. This is a better look.
All right, good job, Stanley. Thank you. All right, and Travis, any other comments?
No, I
Yeah, I think we're fine.
yeah, I think from we've got to a point where we kind of know exactly what's going on, and yeah, I think it's fine.
And we thank you for working with us. We pushed you a bit, but we appreciate you for working with us, and we hope it's a great addition to the club.
Yep. No, they're ready to move forward, and again, I think they like the changes that we've made, so I think it's better overall. So we appreciate the board's input.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Have a good night.
So,
Okay.
All right, our next application is Bill Spade, 16 Mountain Peak Road. Is returning. Hi, Bill.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Can you
Bill.
hear me? I'm going to go right to, I'm sharing my screen, go right to the rear elevation, which was the problematic one we raised before. This was the elevation, and it is quick recall, we're adding a little addition on this left side and then having to recreate this rear facade of the kitchen area along with redoing the roof. This was the elevation you saw before. You were bothered by how the peak was off center, the sliding doors were off center relative to the two windows, and the two pitches of the two sides of the roofs were different. So we realized this is the proposed elevation now. One thing was we were trying to do a 10-foot sliding door, 3-panel slider, and realized by going to a 9-foot slider, which is what this represents, we're able to pretty much center the peak on the door and then create equal wall spaces to either side for this one new window that matches then the existing window, and then the same triangular transom above. So we might be like an inch or two slightly off in terms of the actual center of the ridge, but this elevation was able to work out great in terms of using the 9-foot 3-panel slider. So that, in a nutshell, was what you were looking for us to address.
Great. That's great.
Anybody else want to see anything else of it?
No, it looks good. I still don't understand the 2 inches off. It looks pretty symmetrical to me.
Yeah, it's there's a wall right at the edge of this opening,
Right.
and it still ends up to be like 2 inches slightly off in terms of the centerness of it, but it still works
Okay.
great.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Challenging to notice it, so that's great.
Great.
Yeah, looks fine.
Yep. Thanks,
Okay.
Bill.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
So the next application is 76 King Street for an awning for a Visa Kitchen. I'm not sure if they're on. I'm not sure if they were going to come in. But I put them in the agenda. Anybody here? I don't think so. All right, so the next application is 6 Lakeview Road. We have Michael on the line.
Hello, good evening. So basically, this is a rebuild of a house that was destroyed by fire. So this is my first time ever doing this, so I'm not sure exactly what you guys want to see or where to begin. I can share my screen. We can start with some.
Can you start with Google Earth and photos of the house and the neighbors, and then maybe a site plan, and then you can get into the project?
Sure. Do you want me to pull that up, Daisy, or did you? Was
I
that
can pull it up. Hold on one second.
sure?
How many fires we have in this town? We've had a lot of rebuild.
We have.
Yes, we have, unfortunately.
Lightning or electrical?
Electrical, they think it was rodents in the attic.
Okay.
Actually, my wife told me to clean the garage and I refused, so she took care of it, but we're not telling people that.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So this is the back of the house. It's a one-story ranch, shakes.
Are you the homeowner or the architect?
Asphaltic shingles, white
Homeowner.
gutters.
Or the homeowner?
Homeowner, yeah.
The next one is pre-fire. Basically showing the front stoop. This is where the front entrance was. Actually, no, this is fire. I can see that it's before they boarded it up. That's the fire. That was the back entrance. The next one is an aerial view from Google Earth. Again, just showing similar neighbors. This was Google Maps, a picture from the road. It's pretty, not a lot to see from the road except just the garage. That's about all you can see is the garage from the road.
Do you have any photos of the neighboring homes?
No, there's woods around, completely around all the houses. I can only see my neighbor below me's roof.
What kinds of homes are they? What vernacular? Are they similar style or different?
Yeah, if you want me to share the screen, I have pictures of similar, all my neighbors' houses. They're all mostly ranch. It's a real eclectic group of houses, but the majority are ranches, one-story ranches.
If you have them, we just like to understand the context of the neighborhood.
Sure, let me pull them up. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Share my screen. Okay. This is a neighbor's house, about 3 doors down across the street. Clapboard. They have double hung windows. Let's see what else. This is the neighbor's house directly across the street. He's got cedar shakes, white asphaltic roof, white garage door. This is the neighbor below me. It's kind of hard to see his house. He started to paint it blue. This is a neighbor a little further down. Another neighbor's house. It's kind of hard to see. I took it from the road.
I think we got the idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's good.
Some neighborhoods have more variety than others. We just wanted to understand.
Yeah, it's a real variety.
You want me to share my screen again?
Yeah, let me try to get back to where. Yes, please, you can share your screen.
I need you to stop sharing yours first.
Stop sharing, okay. So this is the floor layout. It's a 1-story. The garage and the screened-in porch are facing the road. This is just 2 cross sections, basically showing the elevations. This is the existing foundation. Just relocating the stairs, so it's showing where the stairs are going to be moved to. And these are elevation plans. I'm going to go with, I'd like to go with a vinyl shake instead of a cedar shake for maintenance and cost.
So what are you adding on the outside? Can you kind of circle and show what you're?
Everything. It's a rebuild. It's a complete rebuild.
Everything.
Right down to the foundation.
Putting a house though, you're building on the same foundation.
Correct.
Is it the same house? It's just rebuilt?
Pretty much, yeah. Right. Same.
What's different? Are you changing any shapes, volume?
Correct. So if you look at what's called the front, so first of all, the fireplace is gone. You can, I hope, relate why I don't want a fireplace back in my house. So you won't see a chimney. However, what I changed was on your upper left picture, what's called the front. So there used to be a picture window there. I've added that upper eyebrow window and put 2 side windows. We'd like to put our TV in that space in between. And if ever we want to put a fireplace back, it would go on that wall. So we would just remove that window, but I don't have any plans for that. This front little section that sticks out is a little bit wider, but everything else is the same. It's a bay window. It's going back. The front door is going back. The screened-in porch will be, basically it's a white vinyl that's going back. All the windows are Anderson 400 series, which will have a white vinyl exterior, wooden interior. The front door is going to be from, what's their name? Therma-Through.
I think though, before you go on with the little details, I think we're missing some important details like the front door. Is
So if
there
you
landing, is there,
scroll,
it looks like it's suspended.
if it goes back up to the left. Right there, that's the front door.
Right.
So I didn't draw the front stoop. If you saw the other photo, there's a stoop up to that door.
That's the door next to that kind of triple pane window.
Yeah, that's a bay window.
I guess my question is,
I have if you want to show the screen, I have a better, it shows up better on the program.
Did you draw all of this, or do you have an architect?
I do it.
Are you an architect?
I'm an engineer.
Oh, so you're gonna stamp it.
Correct.
Do you have a builder that can work off these drawings?
Yes. It's a panelized company.
We just, for instance, like the front stoop, you said it exists, but it's not in the drawing. So
I believe the first picture showed it. Hold on, I can share my screen and give you another one. Hold on.
Is it my connection, or I guess my connection is bad.
Let's see.
So essentially, it's everything's the same except the chimney is gone.
Pretty much.
Well, that eyebrows wasn't there before.
And adding the eyebrow, correct.
So
And is that a vaulted ceiling in that area where you have that?
Correct. There'll be the vaulted ceiling with, that's right, and an addition of a skylight in the back, on the back.
So like on elevation 2, those windows are the same?
There doesn't seem much rhythm. You're rebuilding.
No. And I don't know what the square on the far right is.
Hold on, let me go back.
Is that a window? Is that a panel?
Hold on, do you,
on elevation 2. Elevation 2.
Let me get back here. I don't see the drawings on the screen. Are they up or?
No.
No.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at my own another.
Oh.
So.
All right. I'm sorry, which one? Elevation?
Elevation. Daisy, can you bring it back up, please?
I'm sorry, what was your question?
On elevation 2, so to the right of this. For instance,
Back of the house.
what is that square on the far right of the 4 windows? Is that a panel? Is that another window? Is that
This right here below the door?
no?
No,
Right there, the white.
That is a
What is-
garden window. If you recall the first picture, you saw the garden window that was burned out. That's the replacement of the garden window. The third photo, or the first one.
But so now
Yes.
But you're starting from scratch.
right. The
So-
only good news is you have a chance to kind of clean things up now without spending any more money. You have a chance to clean things up and have some rhythm and uniformity. You know, you can really improve the house without spending more money just by,
Placement of the windows, the
Yeah.
selection of the windows.
Yeah, why don't you have 5 matching windows? The small one, is that a bathroom? What's the small one?
That's correct. That's a bathroom window.
So
you
why, and
if
why
you
is
look
the
at the
one
layout-
to the one to the right of the window, why does that look like it's a double casement instead of single casement like the others?
That's the way it was. That's an office. So to bring more light into an office, there won't be anything against the wall. And there's bushes there.
And then on elevation 2 again, to the right of that door, is that a garage? I mean.
Correct, that's a garage wall. I would like to put back, a gas stove. So that's where I would put the tank, and then I would put a bush screening around the tank. So that wall will be broken up with the gas tank and the screening, the bushes.
And on elevation, on all these, why do you have the exposed, do you have exposed walls? Like what are you showing for your basement walls? Why are they?
I was showing the foundation, basically. I mean, I could take those out.
Well, so to the right there, do you have on that front elevation, it looks like the grade is going right through the window.
Yeah, I missed that. That's a typo. I saw that. There's another one. There's another one too. If you actually.
So which is it? What is the grade changing? Is the door changing?
The grade is changing. That line represents the grade change. So it would be equal to the bottom of the door there.
And is your siding really going to be? I mean, it looks like it's masonry the way you've drawn it. Is that the shape?
Yeah, that's the way the program did. Again, if I could share my screen, it comes out a lot better actually in the program.
I mean, is that the dimensions of the shingles?
No, that's just the way, when I went into the architectural view, I used Chief Architect. That's the way it came up. Again, when I actually share the program, if you want to take a look, it's a lot better.
Well, we just want to see what you want to do.
Go ahead and share.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I showed the foundation, I showed the patio slab and everything, so I apologize for that if you didn't want to see that.
Can I ask what kind of engineer you are?
Civil.
What's happening at your front door? Is there steps? Is there?
There's a patio again. There's steps into this and steps. I didn't show the steps.
Is there a sidewalk? Is there?
There's a sidewalk that's shown on the first drawing again.
Because this is interesting, the house, this plan. This looks like it's floating in.
So is that outdoor screened in porch just like that, tucked into the house like that?
That's how it was before. Again, if you go back to the first picture, you can kind of see that. I did find a photo that was pre-fire that shows it better. If you
But these are, Tom, but these aren't really existing conditions, correct? Because it's all new construction.
those are existing conditions I'm putting.
Well,
back.
but you're going down to the foundation, you said.
Correct.
I mean, why?
They're non-existing conditions, right?
Why are you keeping the same house? I understand you want to keep the foundation and money, but you have such opportunity to clean things up now without spending more money.
What are some suggestions? I'm open-minded.
Well,
I mean, I think it could be it could be a different floor plan based on the same foundation. Driving your garage is essentially your kind of your front door, the first thing you see, and you have this kind of asymmetrical composition with the garage doors to the left, the screen porch there. The gable doesn't even look like it's symmetrical, right? It looks like it's on your rendering that you showed on your screen. The peak didn't look like it was centered with the mass. It's just that if you were leaving walls, then I would understand you'd have to keep some of what was there. But you're going down to the foundation. You could redesign everything. You could make the front door in maybe a better location. I'm just guessing. I think your vaulted ceiling is going to have problems because you're going to probably need a post at that end to pick up the ridge, which is going to go right through your half round window. And I mean, I just think considerations like that. I just think you could probably come up with a different plan. And I think that's the challenge, is designing a house that's different and potentially, and I guess most likely better than what you had. And assuming, like Bob said, with the same amount of money, you could come up with a more cohesive house than what you have now. And to build what you had before, I think is You know, I think you could do better.
The disservice to you, really. You have this, great opportunity from a terrible misfortune that you can really build something much nicer for, again, the same money. You can build something that looks like a house from, the 2020s, not from the 1950s.
Right. Usually we see most people hire architects to work on the design, the floor plan, the elevation and how it looks and sizes of windows and proportion and the rhythm of the windows on the outside and massing of the house. All of that still could be changed on your foundation, but you're choosing to pretty much put back exactly what's there, which I don't. You have the opportunity to make the value of your house and your neighbor's house much greater, and I don't think you're doing that.
You haven't even tried yet, really. We'd like to ask you to try.
And not that we're saying you have to find, hire an architect, but maybe talk to your architect friends and see if they'll lend you a hand in some comments and critiques.
I'm kind of under a time constraint also. Only have so much for rent where I'm staying and things like that. So,
right.
Right. And I like my old house.
We'd like to ask you to think about.
I will definitely think about it. I will definitely talk to my friends.
Maybe the top plate of the walls could be higher. It doesn't have to be the same. It looks like it's the same height ranch that you had before. You could make taller. You could make a taller living room, while everything else is more just slightly taller. You could play a lot with you can play a lot with what you have. I think any designer would love to take a crack at that challenge.
You could frame your windows differently, have windows that are the shape and size of today's homes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my suggestion is to strongly engage either friends or architect friends or an architect to give you a hand. If you can draw it, if they can just do a sketch and you kind of draw what looks better, I think you could go a long way.
So we meet again in every other week, pretty much, and we're happy to put you on the agenda whenever you're ready.
It'll be the first week of September.
The first meeting would be September 7th.
If I like the way it is, do I have to go that route? Can I not keep it the way it was?
We'd like to encourage you to think about it.
I'll definitely think about it and I'll definitely look into it.
I don't know if we're ready, though, to approve it as is.
It doesn't sound like you have support from this board to rebuild exactly the same house. We don't see a good reason to do that.
I mean, part of our goals of coming in front of this board is to, not do the opposite and bring down the value of houses in the area. And obviously, you're trying to keep it exactly where you were, where you have the exact good chance to make a better house and to lift up your neighbors around you in terms of aesthetics and value. I think
For yourself too.
Yeah. So yes, we definitely would like you to take another look, and if you want to keep the same ranch massing, then you're going to have to work on the sizes of the windows, the rhythm of the windows. Maybe the screen porch is something different. I don't know. Maybe the front door gets moved. Maybe a lot of things. There's thousands of decisions to make, and
right. I kind of wanted to keep the entrance into the front door and the entrance into you know, where the front door was the same, that, you know, we didn't plan on ripping down the patio and changing the front walkway and all that stuff like that.
Okay,
The
okay.
outside had planned to stay the same. So that's,
Okay.
you know, another,
Well, that's fine, but even think about
You froze it.
And
it for a
for-
little bit more, you know.
Dan, can you read-
No, I think
But
maybe
also go ahead. The next drawings, you need to show us more detail too. So there needs to be the landing off of the front door. We need to know that something is going to be there, even though you tell us it's there.
Just siding that's proportional. I mean, show what you want, show what you're planning on doing. That's accurate.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
all right, thank you.
Okay, Michael, so we'll be in touch if
That's
you
very
be on the September 7th meeting. I just need the new drawings 1 week prior to, so I can post and send to the board.
Okay,
All right, so if you need to contact me, I'll be in the office on Monday.
okay,
All right, have a
Okay.
good night.
thank you, good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, our next application is 73 South Greeley Avenue. This is Make Inspires. This is the Tavo building.
Mhm.
Okay, Jeffrey,
I-
are you here for the application? Or
Yeah,
Jeff?
I'm Jeff from Sinorama in Stanford. I think Travis, the building, of the property, the store is also on too. Basically, what we're doing is, we're sticking with what the landlord's signage plan is. If you look at, I don't have it electronically.
Let me share my screen. Hold on
Okay,
1 second.
thank you.
Sure.
So that's the front of the store. And they're non-lit black acrylic 1/2 inch dimensional letters that are going to be flush stud mounted with the logo. We got approval from the building, the owner of the building. He approved what we put there. He says it's goes with everything that's there. Everything, all the signage on these buildings are non-lit. They're all acrylic. As you on the front side, the height of the M is 8.16 inches. The logo is 10 inches. Total square foot is 5 on the front. And then we have some signage on the back of the building right there. It's the same stuff. It's black acrylic, dimensional letters, 1/2 inch flush stud mount to the building storefront. And those are 9 inches for the lettering and 11 inches for the logo and 6.11 inches for the square footage. There's a little installation detail side view, how it's going to be flush mounted with aluminum studs. And basically, again, the owner of the property approved what we did because he said it matches. And we've made the spacing between these two, the Bentley Jane and MA plus, the same amount of space. So it's
So
not
on
like
the,
it's out of place.
On the sketch that you have of the front and rear, that's just, you don't have the logo there, so that's just placed.
Well, that's all placed there. Because there's nothing there
Scroll
now.
down, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's not the logo. It just says Make Inspires.
Oh, yeah. It's gonna have a
It's gonna have the logo.
have that logo on it. Yes,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
What kind of
Misunderstood, yeah.
business is this? Let me know what business this is. What's the clapper? Is it? You guys hear me? What
Yeah,
kind
what
of,
did you-
I can hear you.
What kind of business
I
is it?
don't know what kind of business. I don't know, Tom.
Is
do you?
Travis on?
Yeah, what kind of business is it?
I think it's a like a fitness place.
Hey guys, my name's Travis. I'm the owner of Make Inspires. We're a youth education company, so we call it a makerspace. So we teach kids about science,
makes sense.
technology, engineering, and math.
where are you in the building? What space?
I'm sorry?
What space in the building are you taking?
Well, there are no units technically, but if we had to put a name on it, it would be B. It's across from Mathnasium.
No, where are you? What part of the building are you physically renting? Does the sign have a relationship to where the space is?
Yes, it is.
So it's in the middle of, it's in the, you
Where are you?
access it through the hall.
Back of the building.
Back of
It
the
seems
hall.
like it's the back of the building, yeah.
Yeah,
Across
it's in the
from
back of the
Oh,
building.
here, there's
If
a
you
map.
guys are, if you're in the parking lot and you're looking at the building, it's on the right side. So the signage is
There's a
appropriate
map,
to
if you scroll down.
the signage is appropriate to where the space is, because if you're in the
Mhm.
back and you're looking at the building, the signage is right above the space. And if
Yeah.
you're in the front, the space is to the left and the signage is to the left.
Mhm.
Is there any signage in the arcade going up? Just those two signs.
Like 18 by 12 inch sign that is basically we're copying the signage that everyone else has. So
That's not answering your question. Is there a sign proposed for the arcade?
I'm sorry, one more time.
Is there a sign proposed for the arcade, the tunnel?
Yeah, I'm answering your question. The other two companies have one, and we're gonna have one that's just like theirs.
No, but
I
do
don't-
you have
to
a,
show it. You can't.
do you have
do
a
it.
photo,
You
image?
can't
of it?
just do it without showing us what it is.
Well, I'm not saying we are gonna do it without showing you what it is. I thought that they had that as well.
We haven't seen, I haven't seen it yet. Do we have it here? Daisy, do you have it there anywhere?
Travis, excuse me, this is the building inspector. Tom, I need to interrupt here. We have no building application for permits for your space. We have no building review to look at what business you're doing. So before you go any further, I suggest you contact me tomorrow in the office. Now, you've come in and gone quite a ways finishing spaces. You're in violation right now. So you have neon in the arcade area, which neon is not allowed in here. So I suggest you contact me tomorrow and we can go over what you need to go forward. Because even if this board approves you tonight, you will not get any signage because you have a space that's in violation.
We're in violation because of what?
You never applied for building permits to make the space.
We never made the space. I'm not sure what you mean by
The
make
space you are occupying never applied for a building permit. It was finished without a building permit, so therefore it will never get a CO until it applies for a building permit and is legalized. The sign
our landlord told us there was a CO, and that was actually a part of our accepting the lease.
Well,
that's
there
really
is not, sir. There is no CO. There is no new business application in place with the building department. And this space needs to be legalized before you can go forward.
I don't think.
Yeah,
we
I'll
should be
definitely be in
approving-
touch with you because that's against what our landlord told us. We specifically asked if there was CO for our space because
There is not.
we don't need to do any work to it. You know what I mean? We're just
Well,
taking it as is.
space, which was a vacant space, is now finished. We went by the space after getting your application. We have no building permit applications, no COs issued. There can be no occupancy or any setup of that space until we work this out.
Okay, I don't think we should be approving signage for the exterior until you sort out your thing, Tom. Otherwise, we're gonna wind up like we had it to.
Oh no, that's so
Thank you,
disappointing.
Stanley.
I mean, obviously, all respect. We're supposed to have a ribbon cutting with the mayor of the town on the 5th, and I'd love to have signage up. I don't mean any disrespect.
That may
The
not
landlord
happen.
was the one who told us they would have the CO. And obviously I'll do anything that needs to be done.
Well,
to-
come in tomorrow and we can go over what you need to submit. And then the board can rehear the signage, because any signage in that inner courtyard, that arcade, needs to be approved by the board as well. And
Well,
the
why don't we
neon,
just
neon-
take that? Why don't we just take that down?
you can remove all the signage in the glass, and you can remove the neon sign and discard that, because neon is not allowed in the town of Newcastle.
Gotcha. We were under the impression that was our own space because because that's interior space. It's not even
That is a public right of way.
facing. Sorry?
That is a public right of way with an easement to the town.
Oh, interesting.
Now,
Well,
there are other-
obviously,
there
I
are
don't want to
other
point. I don't want to point fingers, but I'm hearing a lot of different things from other people, and I'm
Please-
disappointed
Please
to.
come in tomorrow. The other
Yes.
applicants that came in for signage told us of any placards or any bracket mounted signs. They brought that to our attention. So if you might want a bracket sign, we can entertain that. But the board
Yeah, and
has to
that
review
was
that.
that was discussed with Sinorama. So I'm sorry that they didn't include that in the presentation, but it was discussed.
So come in tomorrow and I'll do my best to help you.
I don't
Perfect.
believe.
I
we
really
should-
appreciate. I really
I don't
appreciate
believe-
y'all's help.
We should not be approving signage today. We get ourselves into trouble. He should clean up everything first, and we'll approve it at the next hearing.
Thank you, Stanley.
When's the next meeting?
Thank you, Robert.
Do you mind if I ask if there's a chance that we'd be able to get the signage up by the beginning of September?
If you legalize everything with the building department, we'll approve it at the next hearing, and then you can put it right up.
Do you know when the next hearing is?
September 7th.
So September 7th.
So that's after the ribbon cutting ceremony. And
Board,
again,
if I-
I don't mean to cause any issue, or I know it's already late. You guys probably all want to
Figure out
go,
what you need
but
to
I would
do
love
with
to
the-
You
figure
gotta
out a
do
way
it,
to
you gotta
get
do
these
it right.
signs up.
There are right ways to do things. We can't just approve things when the building is being built and it's not legal, and signs are being put up that aren't legal.
How are this? And again, I don't mean any disrespect. How are the signs not legal?
You
Because
put
we
a
don't have-
neon sign up, as I'm hearing you
Well,
put a neon sign
The
up,
neon sign will be taken down. I will take it down tomorrow
but you put it up.
because we were under
Well,
the
he thought,
impression that
he thought the interior was his own space.
All right, but there are right ways to do things. This is not the right way to do things. We've gotten ourselves into trouble with other stores, guys, where we approve
I'm-
things, we
yeah,
trust
with that-
things, and they don't get done
with
properly.
all due respect, I'm a local business owner. If you go over there, I think it's not unfair to think that that was my own space. And I'm trying to do what's right for not just me, but for the town. This is a business for kids, and we're supposed to have a ribbon cutting. And now we're saying that we can't have the signage up because of a neon sign, which I will take down
When is the ribbon,
tomorrow.
when is the ribbon cutting? Travis, when
mayor's
is the
coming-
ribbon cutting?
The mayor's coming on Friday the 3rd. And then the funny thing is all these things that are like going against me right now, I don't want to point fingers, but the landlord told me otherwise. I literally wouldn't have even signed the lease if I didn't have a CO. I have in writing via email from the landlord that I do have a CO. So I'm gonna have a lot of other things I need to take care of tomorrow other than the neon sign. But
Yeah, I
the
think
first
you
thing I'm
need to
gonna do
talk to
tomorrow
Tom
is I'm gonna
tomorrow.
take down the neon sign, and then I'm gonna call my landlord and say, what's up with the stuff that you told me was already taken care of?
I have a proposal. Dave,
I mean,
Tom,
Bob-
we allowed to have if we don't approve it tonight, but we've seen it and we are going to approve it, I believe, subject to him cleaning up things.
Robert, if I
Yeah.
may, you can give a conditional approval if they get a CO for the space.
Yeah, I think for the two street facing ones we can approve, we can't approve the interior one.
That's fine.
Okay, but the sign shouldn't go up until you have the C of O.
The signs.
Yeah,
as
well-
is.
I don't want to
Well,
see the
could he-
sign go up
We know that,
tomorrow and then Tom's chasing them to, that's not right.
Well, is it possible to put up a sign
No, I think Tom is saying,
temporary for an hour for a photo op and then taken down?
Well, that's what I was gonna suggest. Something temporary that we like double face tape to just put there. And then after it's over, take it down. Something
Yeah.
like on a
Sure.
3 mil
If you guys
dive
want
on.
it, if that's what you guys want, I wish that This isn't my first place. You know, I have a place in Chelsea Market in Manhattan. I have a place in Mamaroneck, New York. I had a place in Greenwich, which was closed due to the pandemic. It's not like this was my first business. I
Right, well,
didn't
we're-
put the neon sign up for any disrespect.
I know. Well,
know,
if
we
you
thought-
hear us,
we-
we're trying to help you and come up with suggestions.
Yeah, but
And
clearly,
since you have landlord issues. You know, Tom's willing
which
to meet you to.
I already had red flags from them beginning, and now this just like really, I don't even want to
Okay,
tell you
all
what
right.
I'm thinking.
But
what
I,
I'm
but
feeling
I
right
think
now,
Tom.
because you guys
so-
are basically, what I'm basically hearing is I can't even have kids in there, and they told me that I could.
You
that
cannot
what I'm also
occupy
hearing?
the space until a
Yeah,
CO is
that's.
issued.
Can I have that in writing?
Well, that's a
from you?
bigger, that's
Can
a
I have
bigger
that in-
You can
issue
come
than
in
the
tomorrow
signs.
morning and
Is there any way that I
give
could have that in writing from you guys? Because I have been writing from my landlord saying the opposite.
Sir, you
and
don't
this-
have a building permit, therefore you don't have a CO. That space.
But why would
was-
I need a building permit if I'm not building anything?
Because that space was vacant when you went in there. There was no finishes at all. It was gutted to the walls.
Maybe you don't
But-
need your CO, maybe your landlord needs to get it, but. I mean,
And the landlord told me that they already had it. So how would I find proof if they told me that? And I'm sorry, guys. I know that it's almost 9 o'clock here, but I'm hearing right now that I can't mind my business in your town. And my landlord told me that I could. How can I? And I guess this is recorded. How can I get this recording to show this to them? Because they told me that I could have kids in there
Travis,
whenever I want.
if I make a suggestion, come in tomorrow. If you want to bring Steve and Dan in with you, we can have a conversation at the building department.
Okay, will do. I appreciate your all's help.
Yeah,
Can-
and if
can-
you want to
can I
do a
ask-
All right,
Go ahead.
if they want, what I don't want, because we've been burned before, guys, where stuff gets put up and it never comes down and stuff never gets cleaned up, is if he wants to put up a temporary sign for the photo op and take it down and he can't leave something permanent up until Tom's stuff is cleaned up, I would be okay with that.
We'll just do the Photoshop inside. It's just sort of at the detriment, not just to my business, but to the town as well. My business is very reputable. I'm opening in Chappaqua. It's something that people have been wanted in town for 5 years. And now when we open, we won't have photos of the front.
We
It
wanna
just is what it
support-
is.
But
we
you
wanna
can do
support
it,
your
we're saying that
business,
you can do
but
a
it's gotta be
temporary sign.
legalized, you know.
Temporary signage is not what I'm expecting. I'm a 100%
so
guy.
wait,
If you
wait,
guys
wait,
looked at my
wait.
place in Mamaroneck, you would see that it's done to
Wait,
perfection.
Travis, why
Yeah.
don't we, I mean, I am willing to, if you can get this all cleared up before, a date that allows you then to put a real sign up, I'm willing to look at this again and approve it before the next meeting.
That's what I was gonna say.
Everybody else is, so.
Yes, yes.
We're,
Can we-
we're
can
trying to
we
make
meet-
concessions here, but you just need to clear up the other thing first, so.
Can I ask a question? Can we order the signs for him? Because it's gonna take 2 or 3, 4 weeks to get.
Well, wait a second, it's going to take 4 weeks. How are you going to get them up?
Yeah,
by
you think you're
September?
not gonna meet September 3rd?
Well, what is it? It's the 17th. It'll
Of
probably take.
August. That's only 2 weeks away, September 3rd.
You guys gotta get your act together a little bit. Yeah, we want to support you, but you.
Well,
gotta
put a
do
rush on
certain
that.
things. You gotta do certain things.
Because
But
we,
if-
I don't think we have any issue with the sign.
So I can order them and see how fast I can get them.
Yeah, but you can't put it up until.
No, I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
At least
You've got
it's in the
different issues,
process.
Travis, that you have to
Yeah.
deal with.
And if you want
So-
some sort of a sign in the arcade, you have to show it to us at another meeting.
At this point, I mean, the signage is what it is. I'm just really disappointed to hear that there's not even a CO because I had it in writing. So I don't even know what to think right now.
right, so
So
if-
yeah,
if-
obviously,
if I
whatever
may
I
interrupt
appreciate all
again.
y'all's help. Whenever we can get the sign up, we can do it. And I'll be over there tomorrow. I'm gonna reach out to the people in charge of the building, and we'll get this all figured out because we're clearly not on the same page. And I'm saying sorry for myself, but also for the people who own the building, who live in the town. I live in Manhattan.
We will help you tomorrow. Please come in and we will work this out. This is
Thank you, guys. I
more
appreciate it.
administrative, and if the board is willing to re-look at this mid-meeting, then we will be able to grant you your sign if the CO is granted.
This-
Thank you, guys.
We will do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So am I putting in the minutes that this sign has been approved as long as all is well with the building with Tom? Like, does he need to return on the 7th?
He doesn't, well, I think what we're saying is Tom's going to reach out, if this is okay, you tell me, Tom. Tom will reach out to the group once his legal issues and building permits and all that stuff is cleaned up and Tom feels like everything's good. And then we will vote in between meetings. Are we allowed to do that? You know,
In essence, you're giving a conditional approval now based on the issuance of a CO.
yes.
Yeah,
So we're approving the
just for the two
design.
signs, just for the two signs.
Right,
Front
we're
and
approving
rear.
the design, but we're not approving the installation until.
Okay.
Not to vote on something without it being a public meeting.
So I guess we are giving a conditional approval. So we're approving the design, but the installation is not allowed to go up until such time as a CO. Is that what we're saying, Tom?
Yes, thank you.
Got that, Daisy? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Travis,
agree.
we'll see you tomorrow at the office.
You guys are, it's a building with the police station as well, right?
We're
Correct.
above the police station, yes.
Yeah, and are you guys, what's your hours?
8:45 to 9 to 3 o'clock.
Okay, I'm 110% gonna be there. I just need to figure out what's going on with the
I'm sure you will.
with the
be. If you-
landlord.
If you want to come down first and I can explain what I need, then you can go back and talk to them. However works for you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Have a good evening, sir.
Yep.
You guys
Thank
too.
you.
Good night.